think the PM genuinely thinks the vaccination program, given the supply problems out of Europe, is going okay. And he partly does that on the basis that the AstraZeneca vaccine takes 12 weeks between doses, which is obviously a bit of a logjam. But let's talk about this vaccination program. Clearly, with state governments stepping in and providing big hubs for shots, it has made a big difference. And more Australians are getting vaccinated, although nowhere near enough yet. The PM asked by Gallery veteran Michelle Grattan here when pharmacists will become involved in administering shots. This makes sense to me, this question. The Health Secretary, Brendan Murphy, was the one pushing for it to be administered mostly through GPs. That does not seem to move fast enough.
When are you going to bring the chemists in? Because for many people, the chemists are a much more an easier access point than a doctor.
It was in the second half of the year that I'm advised that we had been preparing to include pharmacists in that arrangement, and that is still our understanding, and we will continue to monitor those arrangements. But I think when we're able to bring in that next tier of points of access, that will be very useful. That is not part of the rollout at this point, but it was always envisaged to be part of the rollout at a later point.
Now, Victorian officials were saying this morning they didn't have enough Pfizer. Federal sources have told me they've got 100,000 doses and they're getting another 100,000 next week, so there seems to be enough. I think another concern in all this, with all the age groups and the stipulations, is Pfizer goes off. If you don't use it, if people don't show up for their appointments. I had my second Pfizer shot today and was told that it was good until 1:30 p.m. today. So that is another concern that the government has to address, as is the Queensland state government hasn't been as fast moving as other governments in setting up these big hubs where things are so efficient, and they get done so quickly. It just seems a much better process to me than a GP appointment, unless you have a specific concern.
No-brainer, absolute no-brainer. And you've seen the numbers climb accordingly. We've seen those numbers finally start to climb.
Absolutely, and the PM's quoting them, and fair enough too.
Yeah, exactly.